Hello, thank you for joining me. If you don't know me, I am Angela and I find my paradise through reading, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Quickly, I just wanted to go through all of the books that I somehow acquired during the month of April. Now, if you've been with me long enough, remember, I think it was in February, I did like a book acquiring ban because I have this thing of constantly getting books and I can't help it. So I kind of put a hold on it. And then I think in March, I went all out and just like got all these books. So it just kind of backfired, I think. So I think this video kind of will tell you a little bit about why I had to put a ban on acquiring books, because it gets crazy. And this is a pretty average month of acquiring books. And let me show you this stack. Let me see if I can lift this up. Good Lord. Okay. So that's a typical month of what I usually get in books. And I don't know. No regrets. No. It is what it is. It could be drugs, right? I could be buying drugs, but that's whatever. So I'm just gonna go through and that you see the books that I acquired during the month of April, maybe where I got them from, and that's it. Let's get started. Okay. So, first one, this big chunker. Look at this. This is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. I have been eyeing this book. It's got like the beckled edges. Look at all of the illustrations all around it. It is so thick. So thick. Oh my God, it's so heavy. And I am so excited to get into this. This is, let me see. So these are notes all the way back here, about 1,300 pages long. Totally doable, right? This is on the list of 100 greatest books ever written. So I just didn't want to wait until I got to this book. I just really wanted to have this book. I thought it was beautiful. Every time I'm at Barnes and Noble, I'm always looking at it, and I was like, I'm just gonna get it. This is the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition. So that's that. Oh, beautiful. Just look at the illustrations on this. It's so cool looking. Like, I love this book, and yeah, I'm excited. So I'm gonna put this here. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, this is The Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys. I don't know a whole lot about what it's about. I've heard about this book a lot, but never knew exactly what it was about. It portrays a society so driven by hatred, so skewed in its sexual relations that it can literally drive a woman out of her mind. So I don't know. We'll take a look. I got this at a little free library that I saw, that I came across accidentally, and it was the most fantastic little free library I have ever seen. So that's what I got from there. Okay. Then I got Mary Pope Osborne's Pirates Past Noon. It's a Magic Treehouse book. I actually got this from work. Like, they had a table of stuff that they had gotten at an event. Like, some colleagues of mine were at an event, and there was a bunch of stuff that were just given to them. So they put it all on the table, grab whatever you want. I saw this little book there, and I was like, I'll take this. And I can share this book with a young loved one. Hey. Then we have Heresy by S.J. Paris. It says, an Elizabethan, I can't say that, Elizabethan thriller. Look at this. Very cool looking, very shiny. Looks very kind of spooky. Don't know what it's about. I got this at a little free library when I was unhauling some books. So, don't know what that's about. Same with this. I got this at that same little free library when I was unhauling some books. This is called The Diminished by Caitlin Sage Patterson. A single secret could bring down an empire. So, it says, in the Alskad Empire, nearly all are born with a twin. Two halves to form one whole, yet some face the world alone. This sounds interesting, I'm not gonna lie. So, got that. Okay. Short stories in French. The Intermediate by Ollie Richards. And this is just to accompany my French studies, French language studies. I thought this was cool. I got this at Barnes & Noble. I also got Short Stories in Spanish for Beginners, Volume 1. So I guess I got Intermediate in French and I got Beginners in Spanish. If you ask me, it should have been swap, but this is the only ones that they had. So, yeah, Short Stories in Spanish. This is to accompany my Spanish language studies. And I read a little bit of each of them and I kind of like them. It's kind of cool the way these are set up. They have like questions at the end of these very short stories or these very short chapters to test like what you're actually understanding. So that's cool. All right, speaking of, we have The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Seriously, I'm butchering these names. I know I'm butchering them. All right, so that's The Little Prince. And I got it en français, Le Petit Prince, right? Reason I got it in English and French, I had never read The Little Prince in English. And I want to read it in English first and then read it in French and kind of use the English book as a cross-reference if I'm trying to like understand something. And the reason I decided to do it this way is because I am reading L'étranger, The Stranger, in French, and I had never read that book before. I don't know what it's about. And so I'm having trouble following it as a smooth story. Like for example, the Spanish book that I'm reading, A Cinco Pies de Ti, I read or I saw the movie 5 Feet Apart. So while I'm reading the book in Spanish, I already have an idea of what the story's about. I know what the story's about, and I kind of have the picture in my head. I know the scene, the characters, what's happening and what's going to happen, and how it moves along. So I do have the picture in my head, and I'm kind of reading the words in Spanish to support what I'm already understanding, what I already know. So that's like really helpful. And with this French book, I have no reference. I don't know what it's about. I don't have a picture in my head. And so I'm trying to read the words to create that image, that picture, that story in my head. And because I have to keep stopping and looking up words and stringing these sentences and thoughts together, and I only read like sometimes only 1 or 2 paragraphs a day. Sometimes I'll get through a whole page. So it's so choppy that it's not really giving me a nice smooth story. So what I did with that is I decided to go ahead and get the book in English and read the book in English. And so I downloaded it on my Kindle. That's what I actually should have done with The Little Prince. I should have like downloaded the book in English on my Kindle, which would have been cheaper, and then have the hardcover book, not hardcover, but the physical copy of the book in French so that I can annotate, highlight, and look up words and write in the margins. So I'll do that for next time. I don't think this is the only time I'm gonna do something like this. There are other books that have English and Spanish translations or English and French, and I think it's really useful. So that's why I got these. So The Little Prince, and I hear so many good things about it, and I think it's just so cute. It is in yeah, I think French was the original language of this book. Oh, it's got colored illustrations in here. Guys, I don't know anything about this book, about this story. I just know that it's just got so many, like, people just have so many wonderful things to say about it, both young and old. So I'm excited. I'm excited. And I like that it's like not a big, heavy, thick book like Les Miserables, which I feel like it's going to be like my goal in life, to just like read Les Mis en français one day in its original language and like totally understand it. So future goals, right? Okay. So we have another Magic Treehouse book. This is Dragon of the Red Dawn. Again, this is from that same day that my workplace had a bunch of free stuff on the table, said take what you want. So this is one of the books that I grabbed. Okay. Then this is another, oh, what do you want to call it? What's it called? I'm brain dead. Little Free Library. This is Frida, a novel based on the life of Frida Kahlo. This is by Barbara Mujica. So this was a really exciting find. I was on my way to a funeral, to my cousin's funeral, and I was walking there. It was only a couple blocks away, and I was walking through the park, and I stopped at the Little Free Library, and this just stuck out, and I was like, OMG, I'm gonna grab this book. And so, like, look, I'm even grabbing books on my way to a funeral. Like, is something wrong with me? Whatever. No regrets. This, if anything, it was just like a comfort. You know, it was very comforting to just walk through the park and stop and browse through books and admire the books and grab one and just kind of hold on to it. Like, I just carried it with me to the funeral, and it was nice. I mean, books are my comfort, always. So then we have Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. I got this at Barnes & Noble. Not sure what it's about. Again, everybody's just like going on and on about how awesome this book is. I haven't read any Fredrik Backman yet, and I have maybe one or two other books of his. I have one right here, A Man Called Ove. So that's in here, and I'm excited. I hear his writing is fantastic. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna try to read at least one of his books this month and see if I have a new favorite author. So it's Fredrik Backman. Then we have, see these books. This is what gets me, Barnes & Noble's buy one, get 50% off. You know the way to my heart. You know I'm gonna buy a whole bunch of these. Stop setting me up for failure. No. So this is Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World by Haruki Murakami. Is that the title of the book? Oh, I guess so. Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World. No clue. No clue what it's about. I'm sure I read the back of it when I was browsing, but have I read any Murakami? I'm not sure. But I know I have some Murakami books. Maybe one other one that I know of. I have books all over the place. Anyways, so that's that. get these stickers off me because that's just okay. Shut up. My dog. So I have the Complete Book of Dreams, a guide to unlocking the meaning and healing power of your dreams by Stephanie Gailing. This was a gift given to me. And I just love it. I love this stuff. I used to have a whole bunch of books about dreams, symbolism, things like that. And they all got damaged. I had them in my father's basement when I was like in the process of moving, I guess. So I was in between places or something. For whatever reason, I had my books in a cardboard box in his musty basement, and they all got ruined. So this was just a nice little treat that I got this as a gift for Easter. And yeah, so I am excited, as with all my books, to flip through this and see what this is about and what's all in here. Take notes. And I'm a big dreamer. Heavy, like I'm one of those that I always have very detailed, very vivid dreams that I wake up and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, and sometimes I'll just be like, you have no idea what I dreamt about, and I just go off on this whole crazy dream thing. So I've always just been fascinated with dreams and what they may represent, or what your subconscious is doing while you're sleeping. Very interesting topic. I could go on forever about it. But we have another big chunker. This is Being and Nothingness by Jean-Paul Sartre. Okay, that is this. And this is, I guess, a book of philosophy. So it says this is a philosophy to be reckoned with, both for its own intrinsic power and as a profound symptom of our time. Not sure. Passive container for our thoughts and experiences. Human consciousness is constantly projecting itself onto the outside world and ambiguing it with meaning. So wow. Groundbreaking ideas available to a generation of readers. Philosopher, critic, novelist, dramatist, French thinker and writer of the post-World War II years. His books have exerted a profound influence in philosophy, literature, art, and politics. This is definitely something I guess like I just wouldn't read. It's not like a novel. It's not something that you would just sit down and read from front to back. I mean, unless obviously you are so into this stuff. I am into it, not to this extent. I love philosophy. But here, let's see. Part 1, the problem of nothingness. So the origin of negation, questioning negations, dialectical conception of nothingness, phenomenological conception of nothingness, the origin of nothingness. Chapter 2, bad faith and lies, forms of bad faith, the faith of bad faith. Part 2, being for itself, self-presence, the for itself factor. Okay. Part 3, being for the other. So the other's existence, the problem, blah, blah, blah. Part 4, to have, to do, and to be. Being and doing, freedom. The first condition of action is freedom. Freedom and facticity, the situation, freedom and responsibility, existential psychoanalysis, to do and to have, possession, the revelation of being through qualities. This sounds intense. I love it. I love it. So this is one that I will certainly be poking through for a very long time. Just, you know, couple pages at a time, one small chapter or mini chapter at a time. Look, how many? This much is just notes on the translation. So notes on the translation. So that's like 100 pages before you even get into, oh, look, an introduction. Oh, wow. How long is this introduction? Okay. So the introduction is like probably like 25 pages. Then after all this, you finally get to chapter 1, the origin of negation. So it's a beautiful book. I mean, and even though it doesn't have illustrations, I'm not saying it because of that. I like the way that it feels. It's really soft. The font is great. This is perfect. I love it. Okay, so this book is Western and Vedic Astrological Research Insights by Sri Banerjee. I got this when I went to Barnes & Noble. I saw that there was someone there. He was an author at a table with his books, signing books, and you can buy some of his books. And I was like, well, this is cool. I'll totally support you. And I thought it was neat. You know, there was like a lot in here. So I was like, this sounds interesting. Sure, I'll get this. I'm gonna tell you right now, like when I actually, because I was just like kind of in a rush that day, but when I got this book home and I actually flipped through it and looked at it, I was like, what the heck did I buy? Terrible, terrible. I'll just tell you right now. So many grammatical errors, so many spelling errors. This is like he was making a lecture and just typed every single thing he was saying. It's just awful. I'm gonna go through this again and give like an actual review, but I'm gonna tell you right now, absolutely not impressed with this at all. And some of the images in here were just like super blurry, like they didn't even like copy over nicely. Let me see if I could find it. I was just like, what the heck? Oh, here. Like, what the heck? Can you like even see how blurry this is? Like you can't even read this. It's so blurry. And then, and this is what I mean, it says, before I go into the lecture, I wanted to say that most of the planetary bodies are in Earth and mutable if we look at the planetary bodies only. Before I go into the lecture, like, so he's like, he basically put into book form a lecture, one of his lectures, or maybe a couple of his lectures, and put them into a book. So I was not impressed with this. I mean, look at this, like, it's like he took a screenshot and like the guy's there. Bruh. But that's all I have for you. Those are all the books that I required in April. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.